Okay, so mate, so we are going to start sewing now. So look at what I've done. Remember, this is a pattern that we are using, we're working with. So I've cut out every pieces that I'll be needing. Okay, I've gone ahead to also prepare the lining, like I said, that I was going to iron the interfacing on the Aba lining I'm using. Okay, so I've done that. I've ironed them properly. So that's the first thing to do. Make sure that the preparation is quite, ready, and so that it will be easy to sew. Okay, now, so let's start. So the first thing I'm going to do, because there is a particular pattern I'm working with, so I'm going to start with the front pattern. So I'll keep the back one aside. So look what I've done. I cut out these pieces. This is another fabric. I want to attach this at the front of the main fabric. So if you have to do any kind of combination, you have to do it on the main fabric before you start, sewing it. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So I'll quickly detach my pattern. I'll put this pattern aside and I'll open up my fabric. This is the front pattern. So I'm going to lay this one on top of it like so. So depending on what exactly you want to combine with, it could be a pocket, it could be anything. So place it on top of the main fabric like so, and then I'm going to sew it all round. So I'm going to join the neckline first. So mate, I'm done sewing it. Look at what it looks like. Can you see? All right, so the next thing now is for us to lay the lining on top of it and turn it over, which is simple. I'll show you. So placing the main fabric, placing the front of the main fabric, I'll grab the lining, I'll place it right side of the lining, right side facing right side, you see. And then the first thing to do is to sew on the neck area. Okay, I would like to show something. I have a little slit in front of my neck area. So after sewing the neck, I'm going to go down now and sew on the slit. So at this point, I'll gently open up my slit so that I can top stitch it. I would like to notch. Then I'll top stitch. I'll open it up, push it to the wrong side, push this allowance to the lining part, and then sew on it. So mate, I've finished sewing the neck area. The next thing to do now is to sew the lining. So I'm going to grab it like so, the main fabric versus the lining. I'm going to sew it down like this. I'm sewing it now on 0.5. All right, I'm done, and I'll top stitch it. All right, I'm done. So I've sewn both the front and the back. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to take it over and go and give it a good press. See, so mates, garment preparation is key. I've gone ahead to iron all this. This is our sleeve. I turned it with the lining and I ironed it properly. Can you see? This is the second sleeve. That's the best part for me. I tell people preparing fabric like this before sewing it is my best part. This is the back. I've attached the zip and I went ahead to turn it with my lining. I've ironed it out. Everything for this gown is actually ready. Here is the front bodice. Remember what I told you I was going to, sew this on it. This is what it looked like. Can you see? Neatly done. And I've also turned it with the lining. So I've ironed all of them. Everything is now ready. So quickly, preparing it like this makes everything easy for me. Okay, so I'll place the main fabric like so, and I'll grab the back and I'll face it right side, facing right side. What I'm trying to do now is to turn the shoulder slip. Okay, so I'll grab these 2 points like so, and I'll open it up and then open it up. Can you see? Lining versus lining, main fabric versus main fabric, and I'll sew it straight down on 0.5. I'll also turn the other shoulder. So I've ironed the shoulder. Can you see how flat is laying now? So the next thing for us to do is to shape this gown. So what I've done so far is to measure from the neck part, we are plotting, we mark out our bust, waistline, and hip line. So in no particular order, the same thing. I mark out the bust line area, my waist area, and the hip. All right. So, and I know that my shaping is going to fall on those lines. So I haven't placed my fabric right side facing right side. I will now measure depending on the measurement you are working with. Whatever I have, I will mark it. So by the time I mark this point, I will now measure the difference that I have here and spread it across. Okay, so if you plot your pattern properly, the right amount of fabric you added in your when you're transferring your pattern to fabric will still be the same thing it will give you here. Okay, so the difference I have here, I'll split it into two. I'll mark the half here, and on this other side, I'll mark the remaining half. I hope you understand. So the same thing, I'll move over, I'll shift this in, I'll move over to the waist region. I'll measure my entire waist using this line I mark as a guide. So this is my waist circumference divided by 2. I'll mark the exact measurements here, and then I'll measure the difference and divide it into 2. I'll mark half here, and the other one, I'll mark it on this other side. I hope you are understanding. And quickly, I'll do same for the hip. So after connecting, marking out the points, I will connect it like so. Remember our bodies are not straight, so I'll connect it slantly. Do you see? So quickly, I'll stitch on both sides now. All right, I'm done. I'll quickly iron it, and then we'll continue to fix the sleeves right away. So I've ironed the sides. Can you see how flat it's laying now? Yeah. So the next thing I've done also is to sew the sleeve. All right, so having sewn the sleeve to the actual measurement, I'm going to join the sleeves now, and then our gown will be ready. So in no particular order, I'm going to start from this part, make sure that it matches. So I'm trying to match up this part and this other part, make sure it matches up. And then you pin it down. You see, and then I start sewing it down. All right, I'll quickly sew the other one. All right, I've sewn it off. I'll quickly show you what it looks like. Here. I'll be placing it on the mannequin now so that we can all see the beauty of this lovely gown. Alright, so here is the finished look of our A-line gown. You can see how beautiful it's looking, and it's so neatly finished. I hope you have learned something from this tutorial. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.